Peace will fill the world when we finally understand that only from within can it be spread throughout the land. Every single person living peace in what we do, only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.
Good morning, friends. I'm Leona Evans, minister at Unity of San Luis Obispo, an inclusive, progressive, spiritual community affirming the good in all life. Welcome to our Sunday morning live stream. It is a blessing to have you here with us, and I, as always, am thrilled to be here. One of the most gratifying parts of my job is being able to share the teachings that we love so much and that we aspire to bring into manifestation. I love sharing the work. I love thinking of wonderful ideas to share with you, and I love knowing that you take these lessons to heart and apply them to your lives so that your lives become richer, fuller, and you understand more deeply the undeniable relationship between you and the Lord of your being. Created in love, created in light, that is what we are, an expression of spirit. And so today we're going to be talking about a very important and provocative topic. We're going to be discussing the topic of anger and what we can do about it, because we have to do something. It's getting out of hand, and there are reasons for that, and there are tools with which we can cope with it. So, take a deep breath and become comfortable right where you are. Just relax. Lay aside any extraneous thoughts. Just make a conscious effort to gently lay them aside. This is a time for spiritual reflection, revelation, meditation, music, and love. And this requires our full attention because it is a salve to our soul. Again, take another deep breath and relax. And let us affirm together, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. Once again, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. And so it is. Amen. Well, this is Memorial Day weekend, and it is a time to bless and honor all of those who have lost their lives defending our freedom. We bless our country. We give thanks for the freedoms that we have. And so to open the service this morning, Matthew J. Evans will sing a song about the beauty of our country.
Good morning. Today we're going to sing America the Beautiful. Please sing along with the lyrics on the bottom of the screen. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Have a great morning, everybody.
Thank you, Matthew. That was lovely. Beautiful affirmations in that song. Crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Important words, words that we need to hold on to and bless right now, because our country is in turmoil. But before we get into that, I want to say a special blessing to all those who lost their lives in service to our country. You made the ultimate sacrifice. We thank you for fighting for our freedoms. We thank you for your passion, your bravery, your courage, your light. We bless you and your families. We will not forget you, and we are grateful for your sacrifice. But you see, in order to move from that level of violence to a level of peace, we have to find ways to understand how we can solve our differences without the use of physical force. Yes, that is a dream. And yes, I believe that that dream can be a reality, but we have to start practicing ways to control our responses, to understand why we have the responses we have, to take a look at the nature of anger, to embrace the concept of anger, and to learn how to use it wisely. I believe that many of us have been taught by great masters, and I'm speaking today about Mahatma Gandhi. I'm speaking about Martin Luther King Jr. I'm speaking about John Lewis. These are people who lived with conflict and learned how to understand it, and many times how to master it. The responsibility becomes ours right now, because every time we look around, whether it's on TV or radio or via the internet, there are people angry with others. Asians, Jews, blacks, Muslims, people who have done nothing to other people, and yet the anger and the violence has not been seen before, not like this. In our government, people can't open their mouths without putting down the people of the opposite party. I don't remember seeing it like this before. Oh yes, many arguments about issues, arguments about policies, debates like you learn about in debating class, ways to deal with issues, ways to become more clever or express ideas that hadn't been expressed before, ways to best the opponent by talking about the ideas in more sophisticated and intelligent ways. Yes, that's important. It's an important part of life, learning how to disagree, taking an issue and dismantling it, and using everything we've learned about those ideas to make wise and important comments that make our point. Absolutely, I support that. I've always been a fan of the art of debating. And I think one of the reasons I have been a fan as I look back on it is because it was never personal. in a debate class, one of the first rules is don't belittle the person on the other side of the issue. It isn't about that. It's not about the individual who's speaking, it's the ideas which they espouse. And so all of the focus is on the ideas and on intelligent and clear and coherent ways of expressing our point of view. And that's why people from both sides of the debating team can shake hands afterwards and maybe have lunch together or coffee or tea, because it was about the ideas and no one put anyone down or thought of anyone as less than. Today it's different. There is anger toward groups of people that most of whom we might never meet. Anger and violence and rage and a feeling of righteousness that goes along with that. Let me say this. It's time for us to understand that what we're seeing also resides within the spectrum of our consciousness. No, we might not be beating people up on the street for sure, but as sophisticated and loving and evolved as we are, we still don't know very much about how to handle our anger. And so, as those who have gone before us, we have been taught to not be angry. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. You get into trouble. You lose your friends. You can be arrested if it goes too far, but don't be angry. You want to be a good girl or boy. You want to be nice. You want to be popular. You don't want people to see that you're dissatisfied with things. You want everyone to like you. And being angry is a bad thing, so don't do it. Friends, I beseech you, please don't believe that anymore. You are going to be a good person regardless of how you behave. You're going to be a good person whether you feel angry at someone or yourself or not. You're going to always be a good person, even if you're not popular with this particular group who didn't like what you said. If we could just get that, if we could just internalize that, then we could be more honest with ourselves. Oh yes, I have taught many, many classes over the years, and I have had many truth students tell me that they used to have anger issues, but they don't have them anymore because they got over that. They don't have anger, they don't carry anger because they've gone past it. But I say unto you, oh, the good news is I haven't heard that for a very long time, but I used to hear it a lot. Again, I say unto you, we all carry anger. We can't help it. There is a collective consciousness that has been in existence for as long as there have been people in history. And we carry the wounds of our ancestors. We carry the pain of those who have come before us. There's no question that those feelings, that awareness becomes triggered when something happens outside of us that threatens our well-being. So I have no problem admitting to you that I have anger issues because I really believe that there isn't anyone who doesn't. In other words, we all have anger issues. And because of the way we were brought up, we have all tried to bury them. And it's never been successful. Never. I mean, people have not gotten in touch with those feelings for years, and yet you can tell by people's demeanor, by the body language, by the nonverbal communication. You can tell that people are angry. There are all kinds of ways of looking at others, and of making a tight-lipped smile, and of feeling like we don't want to communicate that way. All kinds of ways that we express it, and of course we do that all the time. What we don't understand, many of us, is that everybody knows it. And so we're taking all of this time and taking all of these pains to bury our feelings, or to express them circuitously, like with passive-aggressive language. Angry? What makes you think I'm angry? I'm not angry. I'm smiling. So, yeah, I want to stop acting that out, because, what if somebody stops the video at the time when I express that way? That wouldn't seem very, very positive for a Sunday morning message. Anyway, we need to understand. Modern psychology has helped us so much. The works of Carl Jung in the 20th century, one of the greatest psychologist philosophers. He said our goal is to bring the darkness into the light. And the darkness is all of the things in our subconscious or our unconscious phase of mind. All of those must be brought into the light, because light is our identity. And if we are not willing to bring them into the light, they will come out by themselves, and not necessarily in a very pleasant way. So we all carry anger, the burdens of the past, the enculturation, the social circumstances in which we were brought up, bullying in school. I don't know anyone who never suffered from bullying. I know a lot of people who pretended they didn't suffer, but were filled with all kinds of pain and resistance and defensiveness, because someone tried to give us feedback or correct us. There are all kinds of emotions that conflict within our consciousness when we're not really able to relax into the fact that we have anger. Getting back to what's happening now, because of all this suppression, repression over the years, there are those who, not unlike the character in the movie Network, are ready to throw their televisions out the window and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. A few people did it in the movie. They were kind of manipulated into doing it. And it's happening now. Only people are aiming their anger against others. Everything has got to be a put down. Everything has got to be an us and them. Everything that is stimulated by the reptilian brain or the primal brain that feels threatened with annihilation and is going to do whatever they can and say whatever they can to make sure that nobody takes away what is rightfully theirs. This is so challenging. It's heartbreaking. It's incredible that after all of these years of suppression, and what I mean by that is every single person that you see on the news who is expressing anger with a weapon, without a weapon, with their fists, with their yelling and screaming, every single person was told early on that anger wasn't good and they shouldn't express it. So, after we hear some really important music from Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans, we're going to talk more about how to deal with that kind of anger that has permeated the consciousness of our country, how to work with it from a spiritual perspective and find ways to heal our own anger and to bless others as well.
The great composer and lyricist Irving Berlin wrote God Bless America in 1918. At least he started it at that time during World War I. And then he revised it in 1938 as war was brewing in Europe, World War II, that is. And in 1939, Kate Smith had a wonderful rendition of it. She became famous for this song. It's called God Bless America. So I'll want you to sing along during the last refrain. I'll tell you when. One, two, three, four. When the storm clouds gathered far across the sea, when we swore allegiance for a land that's free, let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Everybody now. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her for the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless you, America. Thank you, Irving Berlin, for writing that wonderful song.
Thank you so much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. What a beautiful, beautiful rendition of that most inspiring and powerful song. We need to remember the lyrics, remember the sentiment, remember the inspiration, And from that place of light and love, we can take a look at what's happening now. When we hear people saying, I've taken this long enough and I'm not going to take it anymore, and I'm going to just go after those people who are keeping my good from me. There is just an incredible message there of anger that's been suppressed for too long. And now it's become uncontrollable. What can we do about it? How can we experience being part of the healing, not only of the people we see on the news and the people in our government, but the anger that's been suppressed within us? You know, they say that anger turned within becomes depression. Many, many people suffer from depression. But for some reason, that's not as difficult to say is, I'm suffering from anger issues. You go to the doctor and you say, I'm suffering from depression, and they say, well, let's try this drug, let's try this medicine and see what we can do about it. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I hope this helps. When you come into the doctor's office and say you have anger issues, they say, you have to forgive. It's no good to carry anger around. So there's a sense that turning the anger against ourselves is okay, but expressing anger isn't. There's certainly some truth in that. But today, I want to say that through the incredible teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, who shared ways to feel the anger, but not suppress it and not express it as that original feeling, but to find ways to use those emotions to express ourselves in a way that is more in keeping with what we truly feel. Let's face it, if we express anger when we first become offended, we don't really do a great job of expressing it, because mostly we're trying to let go of emotions and we don't have a very intellectual vocabulary. You know, the F word and the four-letter words and this and that and all of the ways that we express it, and name calling. We do those things, but we don't necessarily get heard or get our problem solved. All we do is express it in the least desirable ways. Now, suppressing, of course, doesn't work. Actually, it can do harm to our physical organs. The stress that's produced by trying to push down that anger and those emotions that say something is wrong here, something isn't right, I have to do something about it, I have to defend my principles, I have to defend my country. That's what we want to do with our anger. We want to deal with the issue, not the person. The issue of civil rights, the issue of restoring our planet, the issue of human dignity. Those are the things that we can become really angry about, and those are the things that we need to think about. I mean, literally think about, rather than to go hog wild emotionally. Unbridled emotion does nothing to either express what we're angry about or deal with the issues or solve our problems. It's just, in many times, in many situations, it's self-indulgent. And in the same number of situations, it just, the straw that broke the camel's back, just one sentence too many that we couldn't contain pushing it down any longer. We don't ever want to be caught in that position, because then we can't really say we're responsible for our actions, because our actions seem to have a life of their own. I have heard people say, I can't afford to be angry, because if I ever got angry, I wouldn't be able to stop. Again, please don't let us get into those situations. Why? Because it's too much. It's working against ourselves and working against the passion and the love that we feel. The frustration, the misuse of anger comes when we feel so much passion and we don't know how to make a difference, or we're not allowed to speak, or we haven't been given permission, or we don't feel entitled to speak. What we want to do, what Gandhi suggested, was to take that anger, identify it, come to terms with it, own it, embrace it with the ever-present love of spirit, and figure out ways to work toward an answer to our pain and our frustration and our rage. It's not wrong to feel those feelings when we see people around us suffering or hurt, or when people that belong to our culture are being hurt and brutalized. No, there's nothing wrong with feeling outrage. Of course, it's perfectly normal. What we need to do in order to be of greatest value to them or to ourselves is to say, that is not okay with me, and here's what I want to see done. Here's the way I'd like to make a change. Here is what the struggle is about, and go about taking nonviolent action to express and to work toward making a change, making a difference. But we always know that we've transformed our anger. We need to know this has to be a conscious transformation. And we need to be willing to respect the emotion of anger so much that we're willing to listen to why this situation enraged us so much. Why? And once we do that, we start thinking. We've embraced the anger and given ourselves permission to feel it. Now we can put it on the table and say, what am I going to do to turn this situation around? How can I use my God-given wisdom and turn the rage into a passion for action? How will I put that to work? Let us do everything we can to not deny our emotions, but to realize that every feeling we have is a gift of the Spirit. And there are times when our outrage gives us the courage that we didn't know we had before, gives us strength, gives us a kind of power that we normally wouldn't use or didn't think we had. That is a wise use of anger. But what doesn't work is a blind recognition of outrage and a lack of control about what we say and do. This will not solve the problem. It will only give us guilt, and it will only keep us suppressing our honest emotions even longer. Every feeling, every thought, every idea, every attribute that we've been endowed with has a purpose and can be used. It just needs to be used in a way that furthers our goal, that furthers the issue that we are angry about. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. A lot of us could relate to it. Again, I'm making the reference to the movie Network. Yeah. Well, but then when you ask the person, what is it that you're mad at and that you don't want to take anymore? And it's like, everything. Everything is all too much. What does that say? That says you didn't embrace your anger. You didn't lay it on the table metaphorically and start thinking about ways to deal with that anger and to make sense out of it and to move toward alleviating the problem. So, what is my suggestion, aside from the tools that I just shared with you? Again, recognize the emotion as anger. Embrace it in your mind and heart with the light, the ever-present love of God. Take some time to sit with it. Put your heart and mind into finding a way to turn that negative rage into powerful passion. And all the while that you're doing this process, pray. Give thanks. Give thanks for an awareness that you feel enraged about this situation and that you are going to find a way to heal it. You are going to elicit the help of the living Spirit of truth. The divine I Am says, this is something that does not meet with your satisfaction. This is something that is not fair. This is something that I don't want to see. And I am affirming that I use that passion within me to find a way to heal and to use that energy into transforming that anger into the power to transform hate into love. Take a deep breath and relax into our time of inner contemplation, reflection, integration, and meditation. Let us affirm in the quiet of our own being, I am the power and the strength of love. The power of love is the greatest power. And we use this power to identify anger in ourselves and others. Embrace the anger, the pain, the fear, the frustration, and with the strength and power wisdom and compassion of love. Lift that energy to a higher form and take action designed to heal, to move forward, to evolve, to bless. There are not two energies, but one, the energy of spirit. Let us be clear that we choose to not misuse that power, but to transform that energy so that we have all the power and strength we need to do the work that is ours to do, to let our consciousness of love heal the pain and bitterness of angry expressions and embrace that energy as precious and use it to fulfill our divine destiny. God bless our planet and all who inhabit it. And so it is. Amen. Let's take a moment to bless the gifts we would share with Unity of San Luis Obispo and know that not only is our ministry blessed and has the opportunity to share our good with so many others, but that as you give, you will be blessed by increasing prosperity and increased spiritual awareness. The divine law of prosperity is cyclical. As we give, so shall we receive in a never-ending cycle of prosperity and abundant supply. So let us take the gift that we would share, hold it in our hearts, and affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen.
Here's a lovely movie theme from 1966, The Sand Pebbles. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. The song is the love theme from the movie, entitled "And We Were Lovers." One, two, three, four. Jerry Goldsmith.
Brett Mitchell, Matthew J. Evans, what a beautiful, beautiful song. Thank you so much with infusing us with that divine inspiration. Let's sing our peace song, shall we?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let's speak the words of our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Friends, please press the like button, leave a comment, and share the service. I believe that today's message has the potential to create a lot of healing. I would also like to ask you to tune into the Get Off Your Affirmation podcast. Episode 9 is called Controlling Our Anger Before It Controls Us. And in it, Matthew and I talk about the Gandhi principles and the ways that we've applied it to our own lives. God bless you and have a wonderful week. You deserve it.
Every single person living peace in what we do. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.